Back here in the Maxwell Leadership Center on the campus of Ohio Christian University, about 16 minutes away from the 2014 NCCAA Division II Men's National Basketball Championship. Hi, everybody. My name is Rick Cooper. I'll have the call for this one. It's great to have you with us here on Turbo Sports Group. As I've said a couple times throughout this weekend, I know you've spent your hard-earned dollars to watch this basketball game, and I promise you on behalf of Ryan Kozlowski, Greg Bigham, Adam Brokaw, and myself, we're going to bring it to you with as much excellence as we possibly can. It is a rematch of a game from a season ago at the National Tournament, National Championship in Springfield, Missouri, Central Bible, that OCU won 73-62. OCU was the number 1 seed a year ago as well. Arlington, number 7, and OCU won their first national title in any sport in school history after shooting 52% on threes, 25 of 48 in their first 3 wins in the tournament. The Arlington trio of Josh Green, Rod Reed, and Rafael Garcia went 3 of 15 from behind the arc in the championship game for only 20%. They shot 26% on threes as a team after shooting them as a 49% clip in rounds 1 through 3. And we've told Josh Green's story, played phenomenal on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday of last year's championship when he averaged 21 points a game, but he was held scoreless against Ohio Christian when it counted in the final game of the year. He was 0 for 6 from the field. A big day for Ohio Christian University guard Trey Vaughn. Vaughn hit 6 of 11 threes, 9 of 14 overall, and finished with 24 points. Sophomore Wesley Russell was the national tournament MVP. Just a solid effort, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals en route to that national tournament MVP award. It was junior Jeremiah Ford and senior Rod Reed that each led Arlington with 19 points. Arlington gets to this game this year with a couple wins in the quarterfinals and the semis. They beat number 7 North Central 89-72 on Thursday in the first quarterfinal of the tournament. 5 Patriots in double digits. Josh Green leading the way with 21 and 7. Luke Chafin had 24 and 4 for North Central, and the Patriots won that game despite not having the services of junior center Hugo Rodriguez. They also played the second half without first-team All-Region performer Rafael Garcia and his 14.6 points per game. And yesterday, they knocked off number 3 Lancaster 70-65 in the first semifinal of the day. Shot only 43% in the win. Josh Green, 17 points and 4 steals. First-team All-American Jeremiah Ford added 12 and 5 as well. It was second-team All-American C.J. Dunston that led the Chargers with 17 points, 11 rebounds, a double-double on 8 of 11 shooting. For Ohio Christian, another record-setting season, 24 and 10 overall, a third straight perfect season in the Mideast region at 12-0. They have run off 40 consecutive games against Division II schools, going all the way back to the national semifinals of 2012 when Gary Bailey's Grace Bible College beat them 66-46. Number 2 Grace beat number 3 OCU. They haven't been beat since. They have won, as we said, 17-0 this year against D2s, winning by an average of 24.2 points per game. They get into this championship with a win yesterday in the semis, 79-64 over Grace Bible. Danny Schrock hit 4 threes in the second half, 5 for the game, 5 of 11 overall to finish with a game-high 15 points. This after Schrock went scoreless on 0 of 5 shooting in the national quarterfinals against Pensacola. Wesley Russell, 11 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals in yesterday's win. And on Thursday, OCU, in a little bit of a nail-biter, beat number 9 Pensacola 69-63. Trailblazers led by 16 at halftime, but number 9 Pensacola rallied back. Freshman Joel Thomas, the South Region Freshman of the Year, scored 21 points on 6 of 14 shooting and 8 of 8 from the charity stripe. It was a 65-62 game with under a minute left when senior Wesley Russell hit maybe the biggest basket of his season. A runner in the lane with 20.7 left that made it 67-62. Russell finished with 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. So it is a rematch of a season ago. This one not in Springfield, Missouri. It's here in the confines of the Leadership Center, where Ohio Christian was 11-3 this year and 12-2 a season ago. A tough task for an understaffed Arlington team without the services of Hugo Rodriguez. Rodriguez is out there today in uniform, trying to warm up, but he sprained an ankle the day before the ACCA championship, which is 10 days ago, and he is in no position to play. I can watch him hobbling right now, and the scoop on Rafael Garcia at 15 a game. As we said, 4 games this year with 9 threes, a broken left foot. They haven't officially confirmed that, but every medical person they've talked to, that's the initial prognosis. They'll find out for sure when they get back to Arlington, Texas. So they are without their two of their main weapons, and having played in the ACCA a week ago, having trekked all the way from Joplin after that championship, and now playing their 3rd game in 3 days, the effort must be monumental today if Arlington is going to pull off what would be a very, very big upset here in Circleville, Ohio. Number 1, number 2, the 2014 NCCAA Division II Men's National Championship. We'll take a quick break. A little bit more about Ohio Christian. When we come back, we check in with the OCU second-year head coach. His name is Tony Stockman, to get his thoughts. The national championship game is coming up next here on Torbo Sports Group.
Hi, my name is Candy, and I am a graduate from Ohio Christian University. You may be wondering why you should choose OCU. Let's find out why a few freshmen chose to join our OCU community.
Small, close-knit area, and I liked how the atmosphere was. It seemed friendly and warm, and it did seem like there was a lot of strangers. Everyone seemed to know everyone. And
I chose OCU because I heard it was a great college to come to, and my pastor's daughter is coming here, and she said how fun it was and the great experiences she's been having.
With a strong sense of community and a safe Christian environment, it's easy to feel right at home on campus.
Campus, definitely everything I hoped it would be. When I came in, as soon as it did, I felt the atmosphere. It was a rich with life place.
It was a fun experience. I met more people, and I even got some friendly reminders of people that were here and how good of an experience it will be for me when I come in the fall.
The OCU campus is continually growing, giving students more opportunities to connect with faculty and classmates, both inside and out of the classroom.
The new Student Center is amazing. There's classrooms and a new cafeteria. I love the landscaping, and I love the little places where you can sit and study.
I like how small it is because it's easier to get around.
At OCU, small class sizes give you the opportunity for a personal relationship with each of your professors.
I don't want to have just a professor just talking to me. I want them talking with me. Almost like a family environment. They helped you out one-on-one.
They seem very supportive and very helpful in any way that they can be.
They're all very easy to talk to.
At OCU, we offer over 25 majors in business, government, Christian ministries, interdisciplinary studies, music, psychology, and education.
Well, I feel like OCU's teaching program is probably top of the line. They seem like they care deeply about each individual on a one-on-one basis, and they want their success. And I really would like that.
But I want to do psychology, and I want to also help in ministry any way that I can.
I hope it prepares me to be a youth minister to help spread God's word to the youth around the world.
All of our classes are integrated with a Christ-centered, biblically based education. You can experience OCU for yourself. Schedule a campus visit today.
Back back here on the pregame show. We get you set for the 14th and final game of this 2014 NCCAA Division II Men's National Championship with the national title game. It's number 1 and number 2, just like the brackets suggested it should be, as Ohio Christian gets set to take on Arlington Baptist in a rematch of the 2013 National Championship that OCU won 73-62. And the Ohio Christian University head coach Tony Stockman joins us here on the pregame show. Today's interview brought to you by Ohio Christian University. OCU is a values-driven university preparing servant leaders to engage their world and excel in leadership. OCU now enrolling for the fall semester with classes beginning August 27th. You can enroll right now at ohiochristian.edu or call 877-7-OCU now. And it is Tony Stockman, the OCU head coach, that joins us. And coach, a 79-64 win yesterday over number 5 Grace, a team that had not been beat in this national tournament in 6 years. What allowed you to knock off the Tigers?
I think our depth. Our guys play really good defense. Last 2 games they played really good defense and tough, but I just think, we have too many guys, and as the game went on, we wore them down.
You look at the numbers, you only shot 35% as a team, but you hold them to 40%, and I guess that makes a difference. You held them some 19 points below their average, and looked like, at least statistically, it was defense that kind of punched your ticket to this final.
Yeah, we made tough shots for them. They got a little bit in transition early, but if you notice after halftime, we really locked in and focused in on our defense, and that's key for any tournament win. And then we got open for some shots. I think we wore them down a little bit. I think they got a little tired, and we started finding guys in open shots and knocked them down.
Got to be a good sign to see Danny Schrock. We get going. We talked about him in the pregame. Started only 1 of 5 in the first half, so he was at a point where he was 1 of 11, I think, for the championship. But he hit 4 out of 6 in the second half, and really was needed with Nick Baker going 1 for 11 on the night.
Yeah, it definitely was. And we talked to him at halftime. I said, shoot the ball. He passed up a shot one time, and I said, Danny, that's what you do is shoot and shoot it. Worst thing you can do is miss. He came out and shot with confidence and made them. And like you said, we needed him.
Let's talk a little bit about Arlington, the 2 seed. I know kind of surprised some people yesterday with that win over number 3 Lancaster, a team that manages to get to the title game without their center, Hugo Rodriguez, also without Rafael Garcia for all but 10 minutes in this tournament. How have they been able to pull it off?
They're just tough. They're tough, man. They play with heart and pride, and you see it. I mean, they're not giving up anything easy on defense, and then they're going to the glass. Really good, hard-nosed defense, execute on offense, mentally tough and physically tough team.
One other guy that kind of has helped them in this tournament, a guy that maybe teams didn't even scout for, was Patrick Howard, 12.5 points, 9 rebounds in 2 games, filling in for Rodriguez. If there's another guy other than Howard, Green, and also Ford that could be a difference maker today, who is it and why?
Well, I just think if they got any guys that come and get and contribute off the bench, it's going to be big for them because we have more depth in them, obviously. And their top 5 and 6 are really good. They're very good. Mm-hmm. I think it just drops off after that. So if any of those guys come off the bench and have a big night tonight, we could be in trouble. You
saw this team a year ago. They played 4 games out in Springfield, the 3rd game here. What are they doing differently this year? What do you expect maybe Cliff McDaniel to do differently in this one than he did a year ago?
Well, they play a little different. They had that point guard that was really, really good, the senior point guard that they lost. And so they play a little bit more with the post, slow it down a little bit more, and they really try to pound it inside and execute off that and beat you on the glass. So it is a little different. Last year they ran pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll. And then without Rodriguez, the shooter, that hurts them a little bit because he spaces the floor well for them. So I think it's the defense is the key for them. If they're going to beat us, they're going to have to get stops. They're going to get back on defense and stop our shooters and stop us from getting to the paint.
Yesterday when we talked about how their guards go so well to the backboards. Johnny Shrake, 8 a game in this tournament. Brinkley, 5 a game. Howard, 9 a game. How much have you talked about that with your guys, and how big could a guy, let's say J.J. Smith, who rebounds so well from the perimeter, how big could he be in a game like this one today?
Yeah, we need it. I mean, that's been the problem for us this whole, I think the last month or so is rebound. We rebounded great early on, and then for some reason it's not as well. We continue to talk about being aggressive. And hey, box out or go get the ball. I don't care which one you do. Just do one of them. And we continue to talk about, we talked about already this morning, that is going to be a big key in our toughness, matching their physical nature and mentally tough is going to be a big key for the game today.
In the post game last night, I asked you about Jeremiah Ford, who's really a matchup nightmare, kind of like a Russell. I mean, different, but just so big and strong like a 4 or 5. But then you look at some of his perimeter skills, and he plays sometimes like a 2 or 3. Who starts on him, and what's the best way to keep Jeremiah Ford under control?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I mean, we'll probably start with Sunday on him, Christian, and I don't know. We're gonna just try to be physical with him and match his aggressiveness. But like I said, he's such a good passer, such a good smart player about spacing and footwork and things like that. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna have to be team defense to stop him. Like I said, we're gonna have to wear him down. That's gonna be our best bet for the win today.
Talking with OCU head coach Tony Stockman here on the pregame show. And Tony, before we let you go, any other keys you're stressing to the guys here just moments before opening tip?
I just enjoy it, and play our game. Play our game. We get the ball and we run and we defend. We make teams make tough shots. If we do that, I think we'll have a good chance to win the game.
Tony, appreciate your time all weekend long. We'll talk to you after the game as well.
Thanks.
That's the head coach of the Trailblazers, Tony Stockman, second-year head coach, and got his 51st win of his career yesterday. Looking for 52 in a national championship today. That interview brought to you by Ohio Christian University. If you're looking for a student-focused, values-driven university dedicated to preparing successful leaders, contact Ohio Christian University. Classes begin August 27th. You can apply online at ohiochristian.edu or call 877-7-OCU now. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll introduce you to tonight's starting lineups. It's number 1, Ohio Christian. Number 2, Arlington Baptist. This is the 2014 National Championship game here on Turbo Sports Group.
What do you think?
Well, as my college basketball coach would say, if that doesn't get you fired up, then your wood must be wet. The national championship game and a live production of the national anthem has made us just about set for the opening tip. We introduce you to tonight's starting lineups. First of all, for the 2 seed, champions of the Southwest region out of Arlington, Texas, their 3rd year in the NCCAA Division II, Simeon Brinkley, their point guard, 6'2" senior from Dallas, Texas, averaging 5 points and 5 assists. He's had 9 9 points in both the quarterfinal and the semifinal. Johnny Schrake, the two-guard, inserted into the starting lineup with the injury to Rafael Garcia, 6.4 points per game for the 6'1 sophomore from Kennedale, Texas. He had 9 and 7 yesterday. He's averaging 8 rebounds in this championship. Small forward is Josh Green, the junior from McKinney, Texas. Second team Southwest Region, second team ACCA All-American, 15 points, second on the team, along with 3.8 rebounds. Patrick Howard, a fill-in at power forward, has played very well, 12.5 points a game, along with 9 rebounds a game here in the tournament, averaging 7.6 points and 4.7 rebounds during the regular season. And the man in the middle tonight will be Jeremiah Ford. He moves from the 4 to the 5 with the injury to Rodriguez, 6'2 junior from Lancaster, Texas, a first-team All-American, team highs in points, rebounds, and steals, 16.7 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 1.4 steals. Shoots 60% from the field, which is 7th nationally. Their head coach is Cliff McDaniel in his 5th season, 36 years old, and quite a storyline. He'll coach this game at 5 p.m. here at OCU, the men's national championship, and then he'll watch his wife, Christy, coach the women in the national championship at 8 o'clock Eastern. They will take on number 7 Maranatha. Cliff McDaniel, the head coach of that team, but his wife, 7-month pregnant wife, will coach in his absence out at Ozark Christian College. For OCU, the point guard is Evan Bartlett, 5'9 sophomore from Huber Heights, Ohio, near Dayton, 9.7 points and 2.7 assists. He had a big day on Thursday, 17 points, 6 steals on 7 of 14 shooting. The two-guard is Danny Schrock, was ice cold on Thursday, red hot on Friday. Hit 5 of 11 threes yesterday for 15 points after going scoreless on Thursday. The sophomore from Sugar Creek will wear number 12 and averages 7.2 points and shoots 42% on threes. The forwards, Wesley Russell, the National Player of the Year, first junior to ever get that award in its 3rd season. 6'4 junior from Columbus, Ohio, 16.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 2.7 steals. All of those are team highs while shooting 51% from the field. The power forward is Evan Mills. Mills started his career at Ohio State Mansfield. The team folded. He went to OSU Newark. He's now in his 2nd season with OCU. The junior averaging 7.9 points and 4.5 rebounds, shooting 44% from the field. And Christian Sunday Matthias, 6'5", freshman from Nigeria by way of Covenant Christian School in Marietta, Georgia, where he was part of a Christian high school team that won the 2012 NCCAA national title, 4.3 points and 3.8 rebounds. The head coach of OCU in his 2nd season is Tony Stockman, 51 wins, 18 losses, a 2005 Ohio State grad that played 2 seasons at Clemson, where he was the ACC Freshman of the Year, played 1 year for Jim O'Brien at Ohio State, and then played Dad Mata's 1st season at Ohio State when he was a captain. He's assisted tonight by the assistant athletic director, Jamie Batten, as well as Ty Manuel. Stockman, 51 wins already in 2 seasons, 51 and 18, as a wife, Brittany, and 3 sons, Taden Maddox and Brayson, and a daughter, Maytay, as well. Your referee for today's game is Clarence Pauly. The umpires are James Foster and Keith Lewis. All 3 of those guys are brand new, and Greg Bigham going to provide color commentating in this one. And Greg, you've seen these 2 teams. Arlington, everybody keeps counting them out, but they continue to find a way to win. What's allowed them to be so successful in your eyes?
They're athletic. I think they're hard to match up with, and we shall see what happens. But I think all in all, the big thing here, do they have enough depth to match OCU?
The question is, what's left in the tank?
Absolutely.
Ohio Christian, the 1 seed in gray, moving left to right here in the first half. Arlington, the 2 seed in the blue. Sunday Matthias working underneath against Howard, went to a fadeaway and it never got there. Rebound Howard. Howard's going to have to play big minutes. He has been sensational through 2 rounds of this tournament, averaging 12.5 points and a team-high 9 rebounds. This is Johnny Schrake, who had 9 rebounds, 5 of them offensive in Thursday's win over number 7 North Central. Howard spotting for a 3, and he put it in. We haven't seen that much, Greg. It's been more inside, but showing some versatility there.
Well, he stepped out, and I think he surprised everyone by taking the 3.
First points for Patrick Howard, a 27% three-point shooter. Russell, the answer, as he went right to the rim and just bigger, stronger, and faster than that young man and every young man in the entire country. Russell with his first 2. It's 3-2 Arlington. This time Howard rotates it around the perimeter to Shrake. Off a screen, it's Green who thought about a step-back three. And instead a dump down low to Jeremiah Ford against triple coverage, and he drew a foul and will go to the line and shoot two. There's your referee, Clarence Pauly, with a broken left wrist. Coming in here battling. Fits perfect for this Arlington team with all the injuries they've had.
That time, a lot more quickness. As Matthias came over, and is so big and strong, but just quickness there. And you talked about that with Coach Stockman, the matchup problems there.
I asked Tony last night in the postgame, I said, who do you put on Ford? He couldn't give me an answer. I mean, I think Ford is too strong for Mills, and he's too quick for Matthias.
And he showed too much quickness for Matthias right there. Interesting to see what Coach Stockman does.
Thing for Tony is he's got about 5 different guys he can rotate on him, and I don't think McDaniel has any answer if Ford doesn't play well. So that's going to be an issue, too. 4-2, Arlington by 2. Little crossover by Josh Green. Nicely done over Danny Schrock. And you got to believe, Greg, Schrock, a nice player, can shoot the three, but they're going to make him work on the defensive side of the ball.
They're going to try to get that matchup.
Evan Mills hit a three early yesterday, and he triples again here. Mills, a 28% three-point shooter. He is, again, I love Evan Mills, but it's been a roller coaster ride this season, up and down. It would be a huge boost if they could get productive minutes from him. Ford muscles his way and went around Sunday Matthias again. So second time we've seen Matthias have all kinds of trouble. Schrock left side, firing from 17. That bucket is good, and somebody got him on the arm. That somebody is Simeon Brinkley, and I think Sunday Matthias may already need a breather. He may have been raising his hand to Coach Stockman saying, I need a blow. Maybe he's okay, but that bucket is good for the sophomore from Sugar Creek.
Well, good news for OCU. They hit the first couple of their outside shots. I think Matthias went over to talk to Coach Stockman. Their assistant coach was trying to help him out as to how to guard underneath and defend Ford.
I asked Tony. Tony was a guard at Ohio State, covered them some throughout the season. I said, Tony, how easy is it for you to work with the bigs? And obviously they lean on Jamie Batten a little bit with some of that stuff as well. Tony can obviously develop the guards, but the big's a different story, and Russell double dribble. That's not a criticism of Tony, but his specialty has been perimeter-based stuff, and now trying to teach a big how to slow down a first-team All-American, and it's a true freshman that he's trying to teach how to do it. So 17:33 to play. We're in the 2014 National Championship game here on Turbo Sports Group. Rick Cooper, Greg Bigham, our executive producer Ryan Kozlowski, Trey Wilson running the camera in this one. Right baseline, it's Green, got his baseline cut off and he traveled. I don't know that I agreed with that call, Greg. Maybe you said, I thought he either stepped on the baseline or there was some contact, but it sure looked like Green raised up and got in the air after he picked up his dribble.
Yeah, I didn't see a travel. I thought he might have stepped on the baseline. Either way, it turns it back to the Trailblazers.
To OCU and sophomore point guard Evan Bartlett. Left baseline Mills. Russell going to get a touch against Shrake, who plays bigger than he is at 6'1", but not Wesley Russell big, and OCU turns it over again. Green into the lane on the run, no good. Ford had a hand on it. Ford got it, second attempt, no good. Ford a third time, he put it up and in. Jeremiah Ford looking like a man playing with boys. 5 here early. Bartlett going to fire a three. It came up short, and the ball goes into the hands of Mills, who saved it. Good hustle by the junior from nearby Pickerington, Ohio. Fresh 35 for OCU with 16:30 to play in the half. Arlington lead by his 2, 10-8. Russell working against Shrake, setting up Mills. Same spot as a moment ago. This one no good. And Brinkley, the rebound, he was going to travel if he landed. Dumped it off. Matthias stole it. Russell's jump hook is right there.
Brinkley talking to the officials saying, man, I got knocked to the floor. A little discussion, but they're letting them play right now on both ends.
And sometimes maybe Brinkley, hindsight being 20/20, would have been better just to hold that basketball and take the travel instead of saving it with no idea who's around you underneath the opponent's rim. Right side Russell, 15-footer on the run is perfect. Russell hasn't scored a lot, 13 and 11 in the first 2 games, but 10 rebounds Thursday, 13 assists yesterday. He can do everything, the total package, junior Wesley Russell. Skip pass to Brinkley, wide open 3, got it! Shot an air ball yesterday, Greg. Maybe that's why they doubled and left him alone as Russell fires again. Looked a little shaky shooting that jump shot, but That one there, he didn't hit nothing but net. So
I noticed, too, Evan Bartlett likes to talk a little bit. He and Brinkler are having quite a few discussions so far.
Discussions about where to eat after, who their favorite Bible character is, and underneath, it's Howard into the lane, had his shot blocked by Evan Mills, and not only did Mills block it, he blocked it off the shoulder of Howard. It'll go back to OCU, mass substitutions, which I mean, Tony Stockman talked about this, Greg. He said typically we go 5 minutes in, and then a new 5 comes in. He said I may rotate every 4 minutes. He was talking about bringing a couple extra JV guys up just to really try to physically wear down this understaffed, undermanned Arlington team. Russell off a couple screens. The last from Matthias. Right side, Baker's three is right there.
Baker struggled last night. Didn't shoot his 3 wells, but he got his first one tonight.
1 of 11 yesterday as Shrake hits a 17-footer at the other end. Nick Baker has shot 3s better than anybody in the country the second semester. His percentage just continued to climb at 43% right now. Ernie McCoy, the second-team All-American. Baker just hit again. He's too good of a shooter to go 1 for 11 2 days in a row. He's 2 for 2 here early, and OCU has taken an 18-15 advantage. Ford at the other end. That bucket is going to count, and he was fouled again, and we'll shoot one more.
There's no way Matthias, really, Rick, I think you have to agree, no way Matthias can guard him at this point.
Not only does he not have the athleticism in terms of speed to move laterally with him, but you got to remember this guy's a true freshman, Greg. I mean, this is a polished machine in Arlington Baptist and Jeremiah Ford. This guy's been playing Division I, Division II talent all year long. He's been at 3 seasons. He's a junior college champion, so tough matchup for Matthias as Ford hits points 6, 7, and 8. On that 3-point play, the old-fashioned way, it's 18-18. Here's J.J. Smith. His 3 went halfway down. Chris Little, a tip no good, and it goes out of bounds off a Little. I thought it looked like a Patriot touched it last, but it'll go back to Arlington Baptist anyway. So you look at this lineup right now for OCU, and it is all brand new. And you look at the Arlington lineup, and it is all the starters still, 6 minutes and 10 seconds in. Shrake went backdoor yesterday on that same exact play. He goes backdoor again. They hit him in stride. He's got 4. He could really be the X factor for this team if he can get double digits and 7, 8, 9 rebounds again like he has the first 2 rounds of this championship. Ernie McCoy running the point. This is Chris Little, freshman from Columbus. Dangerous pass underneath to Chris Curious. The Defiance transfer. Turnaround by Curious. Never got there. J.J. Smith came down and gets a fresh 35. McCoy underneath to Little. Right-handed reverse, and he rushed it. Arlington forces you to do that. Little should have been kind of an easy reverse. There was nobody on the underside of that rim, but he didn't know it. There's a steal as McCoy took it away from Jeremiah Ford. McCoy to the other end, scoops it up, and he missed it. Rebound Howard. Howard an outlet to Brinkley. Brinkley to Shrake, firing from 10 feet, fading away, no good. And a flat-footed rebound to freshman Nick Baker for Ohio Christian. Little crossover by McCoy, left his feet, and that ball touched last by either Howard or Shrake. It'll stay with Ohio Christian. 25 on the shot clock, 12:38 to play in the first half.
Pace is phenomenal. I would say something, but there's no time.
There isn't.
I'm worried about it.
But I would say, would you agree, it is clearly an Ohio Christian University pace in the sense of
no doubt.
What we know both these teams have on the bench.
And they want that, obviously. You've talked about it. They want to wear them down as the Arlington Baptist not very deep.
Sure. J.J. Smith's 3, backside of the iron. Everybody boxing out wearing blue. Now, you take that with a grain of salt because any other time with Rodriguez and Garcia, they'd love to run too. They'd love to play first team to 100, but they're going to have to slow it down at least a little and start inside with Ford and some half-court sets and work off of that. Ford ball reversal here to the left side and Johnny Shrake. Howard hit a 3 here earlier. This one is wide left, and Chris Curious, the sophomore from Columbus, a defensive rebound for Ohio Christian. McCoy, a guy that has had 15 and 11 in his first 2 games. That 3 went halfway down, and a good box out by Howard as he kept J.J. Smith, the best rebounding guard for Ohio Christian, off the backboards, maybe other than Wesley Russell. Left side, it's Josh Green. Green against Nick Baker. Back out to Brinkley. We'll see also how Cliff McDaniel uses his timeouts. Does he use any of them just for fatigue? Top of the key, it's Ford. Right side, it's Howard. 10 on the shot clock. This is Brinkley, another three. This one no good. Shrake came flying in. OCU the rebound. McCoy looking to run. 5-on-4 advantage, and it goes out of bounds. That's one thing I was talking to a couple coaches. I won't name them in this championship, but they noticed, Greg, yesterday how many times Arlington players were walking up the floor. And they said they felt like Lancaster should have dictated and forced tempo a little bit more. And we saw it a little bit there as Johnny Shrake was late getting down. Right side, Baker just hit again. That's 9 already for Nick Baker.
3 for 3 from the three-point line.
21-20. Trailblazer lead is 1 as we hit 11 minutes to play in the first half of the 2014 NCCAA Division II Men's National Basketball Championship. Shrake into the lane, setting up Brinkley. To Howard, now to Shrake off a Howard screen. They switch. Let's see if they attack Baker with Howard. They do a little bit. Send it back out to Jeremiah Ford. I thought he was going to shoot it and then dribbled it and threw it away. Had to save it in bounds as he lost the basketball. McCoy looking to run. 3-on-1. McCoy down the lane. A finger roll up and in. And here's Cliff McDaniel wants a timeout before Arlington could bring it in. 10:25 to play here in the first half. 23-20, Ohio Christian by 3. And a timeout on the floor gives us the chance to tell you about a pretty cool event coming to Circleville this weekend.
No doubt about it. What do an Ohio State running back and Alabama football coach, a porn producer, and an Iranian refugee all have in common? Well, they all have lives that have been changed from tragedy into triumph. Come hear them in person at Circleville Nazarene Church, March 16th to the 19th. Just check it out online at www.tragedyintotriumph.com.
Good crowd here in the Leadership Center for this national title game. A little bit more crowded last night for the semis,
Probably.
but you've got more teams still hanging around, and pretty much everybody now at this point, Greg, jumping in a vehicle and getting ready to head home. I see maybe one group of guys up here in the corner, and that's about it. So
a lot of the teams we're talking about, they were going to head out, get an early start, trying to get back back home.
That may be Lancaster still here. Shrake into the lane, went to a right-handed reverse. Tipped by Ford, no good. He tipped it again, and it went in. Jeremiah Ford already in double digits with 10. McCoy back out to Russell. Into the lane, just muscled his way to the rim, and I don't think it was Shrake, was it? Was it Shrake? I think it was somebody else that came over, and it was 32 Jeremiah Ford that tried to provide some help. It's his first, team second. And so you have the starting lineup. I'm sorry, you've got Mills back, Russell back.
And Bartlett ready to come back.
Bartlett coming in. Here comes Danny Schrock for Nick Baker. Kenny Cooper going to stay out there for Christian Matthias. Cooper not known for his offense here in Circleville, but a guy that can come in and hold the fort and play defense and rebound. And I think they're going to use him on Jeremiah Ford a little bit. He'll get opportunity number 2. So Russell hits a pair, give Wes 8, and it's 25-22, Ohio Christian by 3 as we hit the 10-minute mark, halfway through this first half here in Circleville, Ohio. Ohio Christian University, they call this fine facility the Maxwell Leadership Center. Brinkley to Howard, working against Cooper on this possession, and he threw it right into Kenny's hands. Good defense. OCU got numbers. It's a 3-on-2 break. Russell fakes pass, takes it to the rim, and puts it in again. 10 for Wesley Russell. Ball got free. No delay of game warning. Must have been incidental.
Rick, you've seen him all year. The better the opponent, the bigger the game, the better Wesley Russell plays. You agree?
Yeah, he's so intelligent, too. If you're going to take away something, he'll find another way to beat you. And, he is the guy that makes his team go, and rightfully so earned that National Player of the Year award honor on Tuesday night in this facility. Green against Russell, firing a 3, backside of the iron, no good, and probably a loose ball foul here on Evan Mills that got a little bit too aggressive, Greg, with that box out.
A little bit strong, and one of the Arlington Baptists, one of the Patriots down on the deck, and a foul called, so they'll get it back.
First on Evan Mills, second on Ohio Christian. 9:19 to play. 27-22, Trailblazers by 5. With it is Jeremiah Ford, the first-team All-American. Not sure what he was up to there. Nearly threw it away. Green gets a good look, and that's not the offensive set, but it works nevertheless. 5 for Green. Underneath, Kenny Cooper off some penetration from Bartlett. This is another thing that we expected to see a little bit. Talking to Tony Stockman, they may extend the pressure full court into the lane. Traveling. Okay, I thought we were getting an offensive foul, but Keith Lewis takes the easy road as our U2 and says no, just to travel back to Ohio Christian.
Didn't have to pick between the toughest call maybe there is between the block or not block and called a travel.
29-25, 8:40 to play. Bartlett in rhythm, fires a 3, and again, Arlington doing a great job boxing out. Every time I see guys turning, putting a butt in the gut, and going to the backboards.
This is a key point of the game, I think, for Arlington Baptist, because OCU can rip off 8-10 quick points, and that's what they did against Pensacola in their opening game. It was a close game. They scored 8 points. And they can go from 4 up to 12 up just like that.
Absolutely. Lead is 4 right now. Howard against Cooper, went to a jump hook, came up wide left, rebound Russell. If you're Arlington, you almost feel like you've got to be tied or in the lead at halftime, because you know there's going to be at least a little bit of a running out of fuel in that second half as Evan Mills took it strong in the land of the Giants. He's got 5. Don't you think? I mean, I feel like if you're down 6 or 8 at halftime, I think you're in big trouble if you're Arlington.
Yeah, they've got to keep it close here in the first half and feel like they're still in it.
Howard will set it up here.
Sometimes I think that if you get OCU get up big in double figures, they relax a little bit.
Absolutely. That's been a problem. Right side, Green off balance and out of control, and he's going to commit a foul about 75 feet away from the basket to compound things, and not necessarily a bad foul. It's his first. Team is not over the limit. It's only their third, and it may have kept Wesley Russell from getting out onto a 3 or 4 on 2 advantage.
I would wonder for Arlington Baptist if they're going to go to zone here. Sometimes you go to a zone, maybe you can get OCU to start shooting, especially Baker's not in the lineup, maybe as long as you keep an eye on Bartlett a bit, and maybe give you a little bit of a break since they're so limited.
Absolutely.
But everything's been man-to-man so far.
You're right. There's an illegal screen on Kenny Cooper, and this would be one of those times with this OCU lineup that we've seen a lot. You would ask the question, where are they going to get offense? I remember asking that last year in the national title game. Cooper not a scorer, Little not necessarily a scorer, Mills sometimes. Bartlett can obviously create on his own, and Schrock can hit open shots, but this is a lineup right now that if Tony Stockman can get 3 or 4 minutes out of it and hold the fort, this is an added bonus. Brasino is checked in. He's got it there. Shrake now to Brinkley. Underneath to Jeremiah Ford. Danny Schrock came down from behind and picked his pocket. Nicely done. Little. He walked. He sure did. He took an extra step. Got a lot of youth out there playing for OCU. Sunday Matthias, a freshman. J.J. Smith, the freshman. You got to look right there at Chris Little, a freshman. Chris Curious, one of their backup bigs. He's listed as a sophomore, but he played JV last year up at Defiance. There's some guys. This is a national title game, Greg, and got to believe there's some nerves. This team in blue, a lot more battle-tested in some areas. And Brasino caught it and stepped on the sideline. It's a turnover back to OCU.
Yeah, the other thing, I don't know, at this point, too, if you go to a zone, the 2 shooters now are Schrock and Bartlett, but they're small, and maybe you can get a hand up a little tougher. Baker's a tough guy to defend on the 3.
Yes, he is. And a zone allows you to catch your breath a little bit, too, you know. So,
but I have a feeling Coach McDaniel knows more what he's doing than I do.
I think than both of us. Top of the key, 3 by Bartlett, no good. Matthias a rebound. Here's Schrock, who shows 3. Trailblazers in no hurry. Good discipline there. As they say, let's just bring it out and reset our set. Bartlett to the left wing, guarded by Brinkley. First year with Arlington, but he's a senior. Turnaround by Little in the lane. Pinballs around and drops in. That'll help the freshman get going a little bit. His first 2, and it's an OCU 8-point advantage. 33-25 as we're under 6 minutes. Right side, it's Johnny Shrake. Shrake guarded by Bartlett to the baseline and Brinkley. Backdoor Jeremiah Ford. Sunday Matthias asleep on the job. And Jeremiah Ford went backdoor right on him for an easy 2. Bartlett into the lane. He was fouled on the floor before the shot. Foul is charged to number 11, Simeon Brinkley. And Greg, that's his second and the team 4th.
And that's another catch-22 for Coach McDaniel. You don't have much bench to go to, and you can't fall behind. You got to hope guys don't pick up the 3rd foul here in the first half. We still got 5.5.
Almost every time I've seen Arlington, they get in some sort of foul trouble. They're just so aggressive as Danny Schrock triples again. 36-27, Cliff McDaniel says, I'd like another timeout, and let's make this one a full. 5:19 to play here in the opening half of the 2014 NCCAA Division II Men's National Basketball Championship. It's number 1 Ohio Christian 36 and number 2 Arlington 27.
Well, those of you in the area, the Tragedy into Triumph series kicks off here at the Circleville Nazarene Church Sunday morning. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. when Kim and Cricket Carpenter are the real-life story behind the hit movie The Vow. They share their story of tragedy into triumph. And that evening at 7 p.m., former Ohio State star running back Maurice Clarett will share his story of tragedy into triumph also. Come see both live and in person tomorrow, March the 16th at Circleville Nazarene Church, part of the Tragedy into Triumph series. And don't forget, immediately following the game today, Rick will have the Citizens Bank of Asheville Player of the Game. And I'm guessing throughout most that's probably one of your tough decisions of the week. They are so balanced. They play 12 people, and there is obviously, I would say 90% of the time, not an obvious choice for Player of the Week the way the Trailblazers play.
Really? I think you're right. But then the other issue is you could also, with a guy like Wesley Russell,
pick him every game.
You know what I mean? So,
well, we shall see. And right now the Trailblazers leading by 9, and Arlington's played pretty well. They've hung around. Their best matchup is really when Matthias is in there, and Ford has been able to take advantage of that. But they have shot very well. Schrock, Baker hit 3. When they hit threes like that, man, they're almost impossible to beat.
I don't know how you beat them. Nobody has at the D2 level. 40 in a row, dating back to March of 2012 against Gary Bailey and Grace, who won the championship that year in Springfield. 36-27, 9-point advantage for OCU as we hit the 5-minute mark in what has been an entertaining first half here in the Maxwell Leadership Center. Ford tried to go backdoor again. Matthias stayed with him this time underneath Howard. Back out to Ford, who shows 3, and now step back and fires a 3. That was a poor shot. Ball on the floor, and it ends up in the hands of Schrock, who saved it into J.J. Smith. Smith to Bartlett. Underneath to Matthias. They'd love to work Ford a little bit on the defensive side of the ball, and there's an over and back as Chris Little's pass, a skip pass, well off the mark to J.J. Smith, who gave him about 3 dirty looks as they went back up the floor. But the one thing you can do with a guy that's a good offensive player is make him work defensively a little bit. Again, you're trying to physically wear down Jeremiah Ford. Nothing would help that better than Christian Sunday Matthias with a couple shoulders to the chops in the post, and actually gave Sunday a touch there on that offensive set.
McCoy back in for OCU. Tell you what, he's tough.
He is very tough.
He is quick.
First year with OCU, 4th team in 4 years for Ernie McCoy. Jumper on the baseline, no good. Russell to run, it's 3-on-1. Matthias reverse, put it in. Boy, when that big fella gets moving, taking a charge isn't an option, I'll tell you that. 38-27, the lead is 11 with 4 minutes to play in the opening half. This is Johnny Shrake, the sophomore from Kennedale, Texas. Played on a JUCO title team. Underneath Ford, who got the step. Not sure what happened to Matthias, because rule number 1 is always to stay between your man and the hoop, and somehow he got turned around and kind of a lane opened up right to the rim for Jeremiah Ford. It's number 3 on Matthias too, Greg.
I think if Ford had gone to the left side, he had a pretty easy lay, and he being Matthias, pinned you said he had him pinned over to the other side.
Matthias looked a little shaken up too.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it was an elbow or a shoulder that had kind of knocked him into that spot, but my shoulder, your shoulder, wouldn't phase that big fella a bit. But when you're talking about a guy like Jeremiah Ford, A matchup of two of the bigs at the D2 level, and Ford hits the second as well. Jeremiah Ford with 14 points. It's 38-29. Arlington within 9 with 3:40 to play. Nick Baker back in. They double team him. Baker gets it out of his hands to Russell, who tried to fire it underneath to Cooper, deflected and taken away. Brinkley to the baseline, working against Smith. Now double teamed as Russell comes over and nearly stolen, and it is. It's a 3-on-2 break. McCoy to Smith, and he blew the bunny. Russell cleans up the trash and put it in. Dozen for Wesley Russell.
That was a big possession. Looked like there that Arlington Baptist is going to score 2, and instead they lose the basketball and give up 2 in the other end.
Shrake on the move. His jumper never got there, and it goes out of bounds off OCU. So a fresh 35 for Arlington with 2:59 to play in the half. 40-29. Number 1 leads number 2. Rick Cooper, Greg Bigham, Ryan Kozlowski, Trey Wilson, Adam Brokaw, and Turbo Sports Group with exclusive video broadcast rights to the 2014 NCCAA National Championship. Brasino's jumper was blocked out of his hands. It's a 2-on-1 break. McCoy into the lane, took it over Brinkley and dropped it in. And immediately after he drops it in, he says, I want to play a little bit of defense full court. Everybody in this tournament will be tired of Ernie McCoy by the end of the week. He gets after it defensively and can make things difficult. 42-29, near steal by J.J. Smith. Howard into the lane, threw it up on the rim, got his own miss in midair and put it in. It's one of those situations, Greg, when you go after the initial pass and you miss, you put your team in a vulnerable spot as Kenny Cooper put it on the floor. Kenny doesn't like the call. That's a little too much for Kenny. Putting it on the floor again. His role with this team is to rebound and play defense, not typically out there dribbling the basketball. And his first time he does it, he shuffles the feet, and it's a turnover back to Arlington. The Patriots trail by 11 with 2:05 to play in the half. Into the lane, Shrake on the rim, no good, but either McCoy or Russell got him. And Johnny Schrake's going to go to the line and shoot 2, and it is going to be charged to Ernie McCoy. It's number 1 on him.
Again, we talked earlier, you talked about staying within maybe 2 or 4 points. I think right now that if you're Arlington Baptist, you hope just maybe to stay within single digits and get out of this first half.
Yeah, this thing gets any worse in the final 2:04, and I want you to stick around and watch the whole game with us, but I got a bad feeling if I'm an Arlington Baptist fan. Second one is good, so Johnny Shrake splits 2. He's got 5, and it's a 10-point game as we hit the 2-minute mark. 2014 NCCAA Division II Men's National Basketball Championship. And there's a near turnover, and it is. And I'll tell you, young players watching right now don't like the one-handed pass from Ernie McCoy. Would have been more accurate, and you can always pull back when you've got 2 hands on the basketball. So McCoy gets a little flashy with it, and it gives Arlington that opportunity you talked about, Greg, to get it within single digits with 1:40 to play in the first half. Brasino to Josh Green on the right side, picked up by Russell. Handoff to Brinkley. They switch, and it sets up Green underneath Ford against Cooper, and he was fouled and will shoot 2.
Well, that's been their go-to when they can post Ford up underneath. Whether obviously had a huge advantage against Matthias, but working there against Cooper, and he'll go back to the line. One thing about Ohio Christian, but they're so deep, and Tony Stockman says it. He says we get bored. I don't think he used the word bored, but he said we lose focus sometimes, and when we get a big lead, and sometimes we like to run, but we try to do too much. And sometimes a big lead, they do lose a little focus. But I don't know. National championship, big home crowd. I can't believe that's going to happen to them as Bartlett's going to come back in and McCoy coming out. I think the word bored is a word that Tony's used. So you pulled back on it, but I think you're right. And he's saying, hey, we got to be like a shark that smells blood and finish people off. You know, They've had a couple situations late in the year where KCU being one of them in the regionals
did not finish them off and very nearly got beat. 42-34. Right baseline Baker. Russell going to try to post here against Shrake. And a quick little easy turnaround, and that's too easy.
That was a mismatch.
14 for Russell.
And that's a nice piece of coaching. And obviously Tony's a great coach. He saw that time Shrake against Russell, so he moved Russell down inside, and then there was no matchup for Shrake.
Ford underneath against Mills. Cross court to Brasino. His three no good. Russell a rebound, and he turns on the Jets. One-on-one against Green. Went right past him and put it in. Green was thinking about taking a charge. Russell knew it and had the athleticism to kind of sidestep him, Greg, to the rim.
I don't think you can take a charge against Wesley Russell. He's too good.
46-34, under a minute to play, 10-second differential shot in game as Josh Green went to the left hand on the right side, and an athletic move by the junior from McKinney, Texas, who had 33 points in the Southwest Region Final against Hillsdale. 46-36, Bartlett in trouble, and he calls a timeout with 14.6 seconds left. The shot clock is dark, so Ohio Christian can set something up here for the final play of this first half, and a 10-point advantage, 46-36.
Let's talk a bit. You cover Ohio Christian. You know him as well as anyone. Wesley Russell here. There was some talk last year that after he played, they won the national championship, that he might try to play at a higher level. And he's back, which I'm sure Tony Stockman's thrilled to death. And I physically, basketball player-wise, I think he certainly could. You agree?
I think so too. Absolutely.
But he's obviously was comfortable here. They wanted to win another. But there was talk about that, about him wanting to move on and maybe play, whether it be NCAA D2 where he wanted to play D1, whatever it was. But anyway, I'm sure Coach Stockman's glad that he came back. And physically, when he takes it to the hole, even 1-on-2, they really it's hard to stop.
And they really ramped up their schedule this year, playing these NAIAs, and he matches up.
He does.
He handles them very well. So definitely could have. Baker off a screen, firing a three, no good. Mills tipped it up, no good. Shrake grabs it with 5 seconds left. Arlington an opportunity. Deflected to Ford. And nobody's going to get a shot off here. So OCU moved a little bit quickly there with 14.6 to play in the half. You're thinking they're going to shoot it with 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5. And it was Johnny Shrake who ended up grabbing a defensive rebound, Craig, with 6.5 seconds left in that first half, and had an opportunity to possibly cut it to 8. So that's kind of unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, they did. They got a little quick, but hustled back, and but still a 10-point game. Before we break here, Arlington Baptist. I don't think Ohio Christian can play a whole lot better offensively. I mean, they were tough. They scored on the break every time they got into transition. In their set offense, for the most part, they hit probably 4 or 5 threes. We'll get the stats in a moment. They shot well outside. They rebounded well. So if Arlington Baptist, maybe in their case, you go in and say we survived the storm, we survived an onslaught. We're only 10 down. Let's try to keep it as close as we can. Maybe we can make a charge at the end. So I don't think that they're totally in a situation, in a doomsday situation. I think they feel like, hey, we're down 10, and the coach is going to tell them, Coach McDaniel, I'm not sure they can shoot it any better than that. We're only down 10. They shot the ball extremely well.
Ohio Christian, the numbers handed to us, 53% in that first half. And I think the one thing about Arlington that we both have seen enough of these guys, I promise you there's no panic in that locker room right now. They may run out of steam. They may not win this game, but there's no pointing fingers at each other. There's no panic. It's, hey, we've got 20 more minutes to come out and win this basketball game. So 20 minutes in the books here at the Maxwell Leadership Center. Number 1, Ohio Christian leads number 2, Arlington, 46-36. We've got halftime numbers that Greg Bigham will share. We'll take a look at the tournament bracket and let you know what has transpired earlier today and where everybody fits in terms of the final standings. But why don't we take a break while we tabulate some statistics, and while we do that, here's a video to tell you a little bit more about the number 1 overall seed, Ohio Christian University, here on Turbo Sports Group.
Hi, my name is Candy, and I am a graduate from Ohio Christian University. You may be wondering why you should choose OCU. Let's find out why a few freshmen chose to join our OCU community.
Small, close-knit area, and I liked how the atmosphere was. It seemed friendly and warm, and it didn't seem like it was a lot of strangers. Everyone seemed to know everyone. And
I chose OCU because I heard it was a great college to come to, and my pastor's daughter is coming here, and she said how fun it was and the great experience that she's been having.
With a strong sense of community and a safe Christian environment, it's easy to feel right at home on campus.
Campus was definitely everything I hoped it would be. When I came in, as soon as I did, I felt the atmosphere. It was a rich with life place.
It was a fun experience. I met more people, and I even got some friendly reminders of people that were here and how good of an experience it will be for me when I come in the fall.
The OCU campus is continually growing, giving students more opportunities to connect with faculty and classmates, both inside and out of the classroom.
The new student center is amazing. There's classrooms and a new cafeteria. I love the landscaping, and I love the little places where you can sit and study.
I like how small it is because it's easier to get around.
At OCU, small class sizes give you the opportunity to build a personal relationship with each of your professors.
I don't want to have just a professor just talking to me. I want them talking with me. Almost like a family environment. They helped you out one-on-one.
They seem very supportive and very helpful in any way that they can be.
They're all very easy to talk to.
At OCU, we offer over 25 majors in business, government, Christian ministries, interdisciplinary studies, music, psychology, and teacher education.
Well, I really want to be a teacher, and I feel like OCU's teaching program is probably top of the line. They seem like they care deeply about each individual on a one-on-one basis, and they want their success, and I really would like that.
But I want to do psychology, and I want to also help in ministry any way that I can.
I hope it prepares me to be a youth minister to help spread God's word to the youth around the world.
All of our classes are integrated with a Christ-centered, biblically based education. You can experience OCU for yourself. Schedule a campus visit today. Hi, my name is Candy, and I am a graduate from Ohio Christian University. You may be wondering why you should choose OCU. Let's find out why a few freshmen chose to join our OCU community.
Small, close-knit area, and I liked how the atmosphere was. It seemed friendly and warm, and it didn't seem like it was a lot of strangers. Everyone seemed to know everyone. And
I chose OCU because I heard it was a great college to come to, and my pastor's daughter is coming here, and she said how fun it was and the great experience that she's been having.
With a strong sense of community and a safe Christian environment, it's easy to feel right at home on campus.
Campus was definitely everything I hoped it would be. When I came in, as soon as I did, I felt the atmosphere. It was a rich with life place.
It was a fun experience. I met more people, and I even got some friendly reminders of people that were here and how good of an experience it will be for me when I come in the fall.
Back at halftime, championship game of the NCCAA Division II for men. Here, Ohio Christian on their home floor, and the number one seed are rolling along with a 10-point halftime lead, 46-36 over Arlington Baptist. Taking a look at the stats, well, two big scores here in the first half, one for each team. Jeremiah Ford has been the mainstay. He's been the workhorse for Arlington Baptist. Ford with 16 points Yeah, in that first half, Wesley Russell, the player of the year in NCCAA D2, also has 16 on the Trailblazers side. Looking at Arlington Baptist team-wise, they were 13 of 30 in the first half. Not a bad 43%. They did have 10 turnovers, however. On the three-point line, they're 3 out of 8, 37.5%. Again, not too bad for Arlington Baptist. From the charity stripe, 7 of 9, 78% for the Patriots. Looking at those total numbers for Ohio Christian, they've been pretty much on fire in the first half. 19 of 36, 52.8, almost 53% shooting from the field. 5 of 15, 33% from the three-point line. And, of course, not bad there, other than they have gotten up 15 threes, 3 for 3 from the charity stripe for the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers lead it 46-36. 10 turnovers, we told you, for Arlington Baptist, 7 for Ohio Christian. On the rebound side, 18 rebounds for Ohio Christian, 13 for Arlington Baptist. Ohio Christian leading in that important category as well. Let's look individually now down through the Patriots. Johnny Shrake with 5 points. Simeon Brinkley has 3 points. Patrick Howard with 5. And Josh Green with 7. Pretty good balance amongst the starters. And then you throw in the 16 from Jeremiah Ford. However, and we talked about this, off the bench, Brusino did not score. Newby got in the game briefly, so no points off the bench for Arlington Baptist. For Ohio Christian, 5 for Evan Mills, 2 from Christian Matthias. Bartlett did not score in the first half. Neither did starter Danny Schrock. 5 for Mills. Matthias had 2. Bartlett did not score, but Danny Schrock did have 6 points. Wesley Russell with 16. Ernie McCoy off the bench with 4. 2 points for Kenny Cooper. 9 off the bench on 3 out of 4 shooting the three-point line for Nick Baker. Chris Little added 2 points for Ohio Christian. Probably an unfair stat, a stat a lot of people look at, but knowing going in, Ohio Christian plays 10 deep, probably 12 deep to be really truthful, and Arlington Baptist, they may go 8 deep, but they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Rodriguez, their big guy, was hurt in the regionals. It didn't even dress here for the tournament, and then they got Garcia hurt, so they're down 2 guys that normally start for them, so that takes away their bench. But in looking at that category, bench scoring in the first half, 0 for Arlington Baptist. Bench scoring for Ohio Christian in the first half, 4, 6, 15, 17. So the Ohio Christian bench outscored Arlington Baptist 17-0 in that first half. And I think that's a little jaded because that's how the teams play. Ohio Christian normally does that, but still, in a game like this, 3 games in 3 days, that scoring off the bench certainly makes a big difference. Well, don't forget, coming up, our Citizens Bank of Asheville Player of the Game. And, of course, Rick Cooper will have the Player of the Game right now. It's leaning a little bit towards Wesley Russell, who already has 16 points and 6 rebounds just in the first half and 2 assists. But be that as it may, Citizens Bank of Asheville, again, presenting our OCU Player of the Game, and we'll have that interview after our contest. Those of you in the area, I want to remind you one more time that not too far from the campus here at Ohio Christian, the Circleville Nazarene Church, and they're conducting their Tragedy and a Triumph series, and that starts tomorrow, March the 16th, each evening at 7 p.m. through the 19th. You'll hear how God can bring triumphant change into our lives, even in the midst of tragedy. Guest speakers include former Ohio State running back Maurice Clarett and former Alabama football coach Gene Stallings. Enjoy music each night from national recording artist John Waller, including his smash hit While I'm Waiting. The Tragedy and a Triumph series is a free event, and that, again, starts tomorrow through the 19th at Circleville Nazarene Church. Child care is provided each evening as well. Again, if you want more information, you can go online and check it out, tragedyintotriumph.com. Well, earlier today, real quickly, we had 2 previous contests in the battle. For the 5th place game, it was a win for North Central over West Baptist. And then in our battle for 3rd place, Lancaster Bible College showed their muscle as they come up with a pretty easy win. I believe the final was, off the top of my head, was 92-70 in the win for LBC as they knocked off Grace Bible in the battle for 3rd. Of course, the battle here for the championship, the Trailblazers and the Patriots, and right now Ohio Christian leading it by a score of 46-36. You're listening and watching on Turbo Sports Group. Again, the home station on your internet and for live streaming for all of NCCAA tournament action, and as well as the women's tournament action taking place, and the champion there to be decided today between Maranatha and Arlington Baptist out at Ozark Christian. 46-36, Rick Cooper's coming back, and we're going to have our second half here of the championship in Circleville, Ohio at the NCCAA on the men's side. Ohio Christian leads it by 10, and Rick will be back, second half play-by-play in a moment.
Well, just about set for the second half. Trailblazers lead 46-36, 20 minutes away from a second consecutive Division II national championship. Rick Cooper, along with our on-site producer, Ryan Kozlowski. And you know what that title, on-site producer, means? It means you probably get here before everybody else and stay after everybody else is what that title means. And Ryan Kozlowski, a warrior, going to do it all over again next week. Ryan, I can't fathom heading to another stop at Grace College in Winona Lake, Indiana, and having 8 games a day as they host the men and the women on several days, 8 games a day. Craziness, but it's been great bringing it to you. Just enjoyed being a small part of it. 46-36 as we begin the second half. And Arlington trailing by 10. Obviously, the next couple minutes will be enormous. A nice pass by Shrake, who got it to Ford, and an even better interior pass from block to Patrick Howard, who now has 7. Nicely done by Arlington. The Patriots are within 8. 46-38 as Wesley Russell over the head of Christian Sunday Matthias, and this might just be one of those windows where you could say, will OCU lose focus? It's been a problem with this basketball team throughout the year. There always seems to be a window where they kind of let somebody back in. Up 10 at the halftime. Did they start getting rings fitted and T-shirts ordered? Or are they going to come out and get in attack mode and really finish off the Patriots? The lead is 8 right now as we get 10 on the shot clock. Ford fakes the 3 into the lane, trying to set up Green. Shot clock at 7. Green with it right side. Fakes once and then fires. Backside of the iron, no good. Brinkley tried to keep it alive, but the ball goes into the hands of Evan Mills, and Mills was fouled by Johnny Shrake, who looked like a little kid with his hand caught in the cookie jar. No argument from Shrake. He knew he was guilty as charged of a smack on Evan Mills. And the foul on Shrake is his first, team first, with 18:52 to play, and an 8-point Ohio Christian lead. 46-38. Mills just left of center, firing a 3 on the rim, no good. Shrake, a defensive rebound for Arlington. Arlington with a chance to get it within 6 or 5. Jeremiah Ford, spending a lot of time on the perimeter, was very effective when he got some touches at the block. Sets a screen here, and they double the screen, and nearly a turnover, and it is. As it's batted into the air, it's a 2-on-1 break. Russell right over Shrake, he put it up and in. Wesley Russell with 18. I don't think Arlington's going to win this game with Jeremiah Ford handling ball reversal top of the key. That big fella's got to get touches on the block, and they need to run their offense through him. And they switch on a pick and roll, Ford trying to get to the block, but Green couldn't get it there. Brinkley's left side three is perfect. That's a big, big basket for the senior co-captain, playing in his first year at Arlington, playing point guard for the first time ever in his basketball life. Left side Mills, three went halfway down and then caromed out. Arlington with a chance to cut it to 5 and maybe 4. Shrake, a little stop and start, shot it high up over Mills, but he could not drop it in, and then he took it away from Russell. Dropped it off underneath to Ford, who put it on the rim but could not get it to fall. And a dangerous outlet that Josh Green says went off of Wesley Russell. But it doesn't matter what Josh Green says. It matters what Keith Lewis says as our U2. And Lewis says it's OCU basketball. And Cliff McDaniel working Lewis, although he's on the other side of the court right now. Only so much Cliff McDaniel can do from his coach's box. But his reaction made it abundantly clear he wasn't satisfied with the call either. 48-41, 17:08 to play. Russell off a screen, open for three, and he hit it. Wesley Russell with 21 points. He's the only Trailblazer in double digits. Nick Baker with 3 threes has 9. 51-41, 16:50 to play in this game. The national championship game here on Turbo Sports Group. Right side, it's Howard to Shrake against Schrock. He beat him to the rim, could not finish, and that's because Danny Schrock had a hold of his arm. Johnny Shrake will get 2 free throws. So that's the second time we've seen them pull Schrock away, create a little space for Johnny Shrake, and allow him to try to operate on the OCU sophomore guard. Arlington 7 of 9 from the charity stripe in the first half for 78%. Free throws 10 and 11 here. And the first one is no good for Johnny Shrake, who is an 83% free throw shooter, second best on the team to Jamie Brasino's 91%. Mills, Bartlett, and Schrock sit down. Baker, McCoy, and J.J. Smith check in. We said Baker a huge spark in that first half when he hit 3 threes. 51-41, 16:35 to play. Russell, free throw line, jumper is right there. When Wesley Russell's hitting jump shots, there is nothing you can do to slow him down. 23 points. It is pick your poison at that point. Green open off some movement, and he hits a 3. How big was that one for the junior from McKinney, Texas, who's in double digits with 10, joining Jeremiah Ford, who has a team-high 16. 53-44, lead is down to 9. Got as low as, 7 in this second half? Into the lane, Russell on the move, no good, and a good box out by Patrick Howard. 53-44. Trailblazer lead is 9 with 15:38 to play in the game. Patrick Howard with it here against Sunday Matthias. Green against Russell, fading against Russell. That's a big-time move against Wesley Russell as Green went to a fadeaway and got it up quick enough and high enough that a surging Russell couldn't get to it. J.J. Smith off some McCoy penetration, answers at the other end. First points of the game for the true freshman from Westland High School. That was OCU's top recruit here in 2013-14. Green fading again, off the window, no good. Ford had a hand on it, but Russell from behind him able to snag the defensive rebound. 10-point game, under 15 minutes to play. McCoy wide open, 3, he hit again. Ernie McCoy with 7, and Cliff McDaniel stands up and looks at referee Clarence Pauly. I thought a timeout was coming at the other end. Shot by Ford, no good. Trailblazers want to run. McCoy into the lane, put it up, no, but he'll shoot 2. Believe it was Patrick Howard And that's exactly who it's going to be. The foul on Howard is his first, team second. What a blessing Ernie McCoy has been to this program. We told you fourth team in 4 years. Played last year at the University of Cumberland in Kentucky. Played 2 seasons ago at Glen Oaks Community College and played his freshman year at Ohio State Newark. And the first free throw is no good. We told you yesterday he is the only All-American this year that does not start. That award last year, or honor, went to Spencer Plank from Grace University. This year, McCoy, the sixth man on this team, recognized still as a first-team All-Region performer and was recognized as the honorable mention All-American at the championship banquet on Tuesday night in this facility. Top of the key, it's Howard. Nice interior pass to Green, who waited for Cooper to go by with a pump fake, but then didn't finish the job. OCU looking to run. McCoy, left elbow jumper on the rim, no good. Johnny Shrake a rebound. Numbers for Arlington, 4 on 3. Shrake straight to the rim as nobody stopped basketball. Johnny Shrake with 7. With the bodies of OCU, maybe it's an unfair statement, but I don't think Arlington should ever have a 4 on 3 advantage. Trailblazers faster, quicker, and fresher. Russell a tough shot at the other end, and he missed it. West thought he was fouled, nothing called. Trailblazers should be able to get back in defense and never allow Arlington an advantage. They've got the personnel to do it. Bodies rotating in every 3 or 4 minutes. Around the horn to the left side, and Shrake. Pass underneath for Ford, and Cooper came around and knocked it out of bounds. Number 1, that's got to be a bounce pass. And number 2, if you're Johnny Shrake, you need to make sure that Jeremiah Ford has sealed the quicker, athletic Kenny Cooper before you make that pass. 13:26 to play. Lead is a dozen. Arlington trailed by 10 at halftime, 46-36. Chris Little is checked in, so is Nick Baker. Cooper against Ford in here, and he took it right into the chest of Kenny Cooper and drew a foul. And Keith Bullock right on top of that call. And it's one of those fouls that Kenny Cooper, there's nothing you can do really to avoid that foul. When a player turns and initiates the contact and brings the ball and his body right into your chest, I mean, it's just a foul that's going to be called every time. First free throw is up and in for Jeremiah Ford. His first point here in the second after scoring 17 in the first half on 5 of 6 shooting, and give him 18 as he hits the free throw here. So 9 of 12 for Arlington for 75%. Patrick Howard, a quick breather with 7. Jamie Brasino, who came off the bench in the first half and did not score, checks in. He's had 10 and 8 in the quarterfinals and the semis. Some production from him here could be huge for Arlington. They trail by 10. McCoy into the lane, and he put it up and in. A pick and roll. Arlington was confused. That'd be the best word. They let McCoy go as they double team the screener. And Ernie McCoy to the rim, and Ernie in double digits now with 10. Second Trailblazer to hit that plateau as Shrake answers at the other end. Johnny Shrake with 9. Lead stays at 10, 62-52. Into the lane, McCoy scooped it up, no, but he was fouled yet again. And this time it's going to be number 11, Simeon Brinkley. It's his third. With 12:34 to play in this game, Ernie McCoy back to the free throw line, 86% on the year, which is number 4 in America. Came into this championship 62 of 72. And that one hits nothing but the bottom of the net. So Ernie McCoy with 11. 12:34 to play in this game, 63-52. Brinkley sits down. Some minutes for the true freshman Eric Wood, 5'10", out of Mansfield, Texas. Had 2 points off the bench yesterday in very limited minutes. He won't play long, but Brinkley a breather here to get ready for the home stretch. 64-52, 12:28 to play. Ford top of the key, and Johnny Shrake. Shrake hands it off to Wood. Wood gets it back to Green, who's being hounded by Ernie McCoy. That's a matchup of quicks. Green almost looks slow against the speed of McCoy. Shrake into the lane, and McCoy took it away from behind. The pickpocket. It's a 4-on-2 break. McCoy tried to go between the legs with the pass. He threw it away. Green to the other end. Took it at Baker. No, but he'll shoot two. So McCoy with an opportunity on a 4-on-2 break to finish the job and really turn this into a 14-point game, and he elects to go between the legs with the pass. And instead of going up 14, Arlington can get right back into this game down 10 with a couple free throws here from Josh Green, and the first one is right there. Foul was on Nick Baker. It's his first, team second. Free throws 14 and 15 for Arlington. And Josh Green hits them both. He's got 14 points. So those are big plays in a basketball game. People will forget that a half hour from now, but a chance to go up 14, and instead you're only up 10. As Smith into the lane, over Shrake. It spun around the rim and then dropped in. 5 for the freshman, J.J. Smith. Smith averaged 5.5 points per game in the first 2 games of this tournament as Wood fired a 3, no good. Chris Little a rebound. Wood took it away from Little, drops it off to Ford, who put it up and in. That's a big play by the true freshman Eric Wood, who picked the pocket of Little and then found Jeremiah Ford for 2 more. 66-56, 11:15 to play. McCoy, left wing, Chris Little. Back out to Ernie McCoy. Wesley Russell, Evan Bartlett, and friends resting comfortably on that OCU bench. Little, free throw line extended, dropped it off to J.J. Smith, who just went right over the smaller Eric Wood and laid in yet again. J.J. Smith with 7, all of them here in the second half. 68-56. Green against a double team, and they're going to call that same travel again that they called on that right baseline early in the first half when Greg Bigham and I questioned it. It looks like Green is keeping his dribble, and there's something about that move that Keith Bullock, the U2, does not like. 10:42 to play in the game. Chris Little sits down, Russell back in. Russell returns with 23. Little sits down with 2. Patrick Howard back in with 7. Jeremiah Ford sitting down with 20. And he looks at Cliff McDaniel and kind of says, what's up with this, coach? Because not something that Jeremiah Ford does very often in terms of sitting down on the bench. He will go down, let's see, at about the 10:30 mark. I bet you he's back in by the 9-minute mark. Right side, it's Evan Bartlett. Obviously a big situation here with no Jeremiah Ford. Mills underneath, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Eric Wood as he tried to slow down 6'4", 6'5" Evan Mills at 5'10". First foul on Eric Wood. 4th on the team. No shots. So Bartlett will inbound against Shrake underneath the OCU basket. Quick throw into Russell, and Howard closed out quickly to slap it out of bounds with 10:19 to play. Bartlett to do it again. Bartlett looking into J.J. Smith on the baseline. One dribble, and he picked it up. Mills right side against Brasino. Here's Bartlett, opposite side for 3. Put it up and in. There is nothing you can do against that. The Trailblazers too athletic. They can find their way into the lane, and your defense, if it's where it's supposed to be, forming that 5-on-3 wall, as Valley Forge John Mack put it, those 2 guys on the opposite wing should be in the lane to help stop that penetration. Folks, it's going to leave shooters on the opposite side with a chance to hit threes. I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen, and if Evan Bartlett, Danny Schrock, and Nick Baker are hitting those shots, it's going to be a long night. The only thing that I don't see a lot of teams do, I wonder sometimes, do you ever not help in that situation? Do you ever just say, we are going to stay home on shooters, and if Wesley Russell's going to get into the lane and penetrate, then we're going to let him get into the lane, but we're not going to allow these guys to get open shots. So anyway, something to think about. Let's talk about Circleville Nazarene Church one more time. That Tragedy into Triumph series kicks off tomorrow morning. March the 16th at 10 a.m. when Kim and Cricket Carpenter, the real-life story behind the hit movie The Vow, share their story of tragedy into triumph. And later that evening, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., former Ohio State running back Maurice Clarett, a member of that 2002 Ohio State National Championship football team, will share his story of tragedy into triumph as well. Come see both of them live and in person Sunday, March 16th at Circleville Nazarene Church as part of the Tragedy into Triumph series. For more information, visit tragedyintotriumph.com. So, 10:03 to play. If Ohio Christian wins this game, we will talk to OCU head coach Tony Stockman. We'll select our Citizens Bank of Asheville player of the game regardless. We'll talk to him after an OCU win as well in the post-game show. They'll announce the all-tournament team and all that good stuff. They've got a lot of hardware sitting right in front of us behind the scorer's table in front of the stage. Foul is charged to number 20, J.J. Smith. It's his first, third on OCU here in the second half. 71-56, the lead is ballooned to 15 with 9:48 to play in this championship. Brasino, top of the key, and Howard. Howard to Josh Green. Green to Howard. Now left side, it's Wood. Wood still in there. Top of the key three by Howard. Never got there, but he got his own rebound, and he finished right near the rim. Worth noting, Jeremiah Ford is back in this game coming out of the timeout, so he sat probably about 45 seconds of game time. 71-58, 9:10 to play. The 2014 NCCAA Division II Men's National Basketball Championship. Left side, it's J.J. Smith. Smith hands it off to Bartlett, who hands it off to Russell, and Russell never got that handoff, and it goes out of bounds. And Bartlett and Russell jawing at each other a little bit. Under 9 minutes to play. Arlington still hanging around in striking distance, down 13. Green into the lane, lost the basketball out of bounds. So twice on that baseline he's been called for travels. This time he loses the basketball out of bounds, and it's a turnover back to OCU. And Cliff McDaniel not happy with the effort there from Green. Immediately subs in Johnny Shrake for him. So Shrake back in with 9. Green with 14. Green on the bench, so is Simeon Brinkley. Two of their starting guards. And they continue to go with a heavy dose of Eric Wood. And also in there, Jamie Brasino, the true freshman that had 20 points and 9 rebounds in their regional semifinal win over Ozark. Russell into the lane, spun on Shrake and dropped it in. 25 for Wesley Russell. And it's 73-58, 8:20 to play. Shrake got the step into the lane, triple teamed. They rotate it quickly. OCU rotates quickly themselves. No advantage for Arlington after they triple team one of the Patriots momentarily. Good defensive set, and as I say that, Wood goes backdoor. Again, OCU rotates quickly. Shrake's three as the shot clock went off was no good, but a fresh 35 for Arlington. Howard into the lane, put it up, no, but he'll shoot 2. Kenny Cooper came over to help, and that's who they're going to charge the foul on. For Kenny, it's his 4th, the junior from Columbus. 4th on the team. Patrick Howard working on a 9-point night, averaged 12.5. On Thursday and Friday. First one is right there. Patrick Howard now in double digits with 10. Ford with 20, Green with 14, Howard with 10. Johnny Shrake solid with 9 tonight as well. 25 for Wesley Russell and a dozen for Ernie McCoy. Nick Baker hit 3 threes in the first half. He has 9. 73-59. Second one is good again for Patrick Howard. 73-60. 7:45 to play. Lead is 13. Russell left forecourt looking for Schrock, who wasn't open on the screen. Instead, put it on the floor. Nearly lost it. Here's Danny for three. On the rim, no good. Mills, an offensive rebound, and he put it in. We told you Evan Mills, kind of an X factor with this team. They are much better with him on the floor, playing active and aggressive. And there's a steal by Mills. It's a 5-on-2 break, and they turn it over. As Bartlett threw it right into the chest of Russell. If you're an X's and O's guys, you would say that he threw that pass too late. And that one probably should have been a bounce pass as well. Right side, Woods three, never got there. Ball on the floor. Ford on the floor. And a jump ball is going to be called. No, they're going to give OCU a timeout and say Christian Sunday Matthias had the possession of the basketball with 6:58 to play and a 75-60 OCU lead. Stick around after the game. We'll check in with Tony Stockman and put a headset on the head coach. We'll also select the Citizens Bank of Asheville, Ohio Christian University Player of the Game. All that is coming up on the post-game show. We hope you'll stick around for that. What an Ohio State running back, an Alabama football coach, a porn producer, and an Iranian refugee have in common. They all have lives that have been changed from tragedy into triumph. Come hear them in person at Circleville Nazarene Church, March 16th through 19th. For more information, visit tragedyintotriumph.com. That series begins tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and wraps up Wednesday night. I have been down there. Have listened to Anthony Munoz before. Have listened to the co-star of the TV show Matlock. I've heard Blessed Union of Souls. What a great event, a free event with childcare provided, and it kicks off tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at Circleville Nazarene Church. I'm hoping after about 18 hours of sleep to hear Maurice Claret's story. What a story, a tragedy into triumph. Kid that had a lot going wrong after he won that 2002 national championship. Russell tried to raise up and lost it. 75-60, lead is 15 with 6.5 to play. Howard to the baseline. Wood had it and was fouled as he tried to work on that left wing. And Bartlett and Schrock talking about it on that left wing. Foul is charged to Bartlett. It's his first, team fifth. Here comes Ernie McCoy. Evan Bartlett sits down. Bartlett sits with three. Ernie McCoy back with a dozen. This is Johnny Shrake, the sophomore from Kennedale, Texas. His high school coach. Worked at a high school where McDaniel used to coach before he came to Arlington. And that's how he got connected to the Patriot program in his second year. Here's Brasino firing a three off some penetration. He hits again. Jamie Brasino had 18 in the first two games of this tournament. That's the first points of this one for the freshman from Royce City, Texas. 75-63, Arlington back within a dozen with under 6 minutes to play. McCoy's three, got it! Ernie McCoy, 15 big ones off of Tony Stockman's bench, and the lead right back up to 15. 78-63, Wood. Little turnaround that never got there from 10 feet. Rebound, OCU. McCoy firing a three on the rim, no good. Tip up by Mills, no good. Matthias had it, and Russell ends up grabbing it, a fresh 35 with 5:20 to play. Trailblazer fans cheering with that fresh 35. They know the clock beginning to be a sixth man with 5:10 to play. Russell, step back jumper is too strong. Another 35 for Christian Sunday Matthias and OCU here. 78-63. Three fresh bodies coming in for Arlington, including Philip Wakama, who will make his first appearance. Green and Brinkley waiting at the table as well. McCoy with 9 on the shot clock. His shot never got there. Blocked and taken away by Brasino. 3-on-1 break. Wood lost it on the baseline, and they're going to call a foul on Evan Mills that really wasn't necessary, as they had already grabbed the basketball, and I think more than anything, it was Evan Mills' momentum that forced him into Eric Wood and forced the foul call. It's number 2 on Evan Mills. I only have it as 6 on the team, but the board says 7, so we'll change ours to be in compliance. The subs do come in. Green, Brinkley, and Wakama for Arlington. Nick Baker for OCU as Danny Schrock will sit down. 4:31 to play, 78-63. And a 1-and-1 opportunity coming up for Eric Wood. But not before Cliff McDaniel calls a timeout. 78-63. We'll tell you what's happened earlier today in this championship. Lancaster Bible just won 94-72 over a depleted Grace Bible squad, playing without Paul Ten-Harmsel, playing without Brad Rosenzweig, and playing against what some still believe may be the best basketball team in this tournament. They're not in the championship, but number 3 Lancaster was very impressive this weekend and impressive again today, led by Marshall Tegg, their second-year head coach, and Albert Sunega, the first-team All-American. They finished 3rd in the nation with a 94-72 win over Grace Bible. The Tigers from Grand Rapids finished 4th. Earlier today, number 7 North Central, 86-65 winners over number 4 West Coast. Another big day for honorable mention All-American Luke Chafin, who had 23 points and 6 rebounds on 9 of 14 shooting. And North Central got it done shooting the basketball, 52% as a team. They hold West Coast to only 31% shooting. The Eagles shot it at a 23% clip in that first half. And so what that means is Lancaster finishes 3rd, Grace finishes 4th, North Central 5th, West Coast 6th. Grace University and Pensacola finish in a tie for 7th. Since there was no 7th place game, they finish in a tie for 7th. Number 8 Valley Forge finishes 9th, and number 10 Kuiper finishes 10th. Really not a lot of surprises, not a lot of Cinderella stories in this championship. The women's bracket, we'll talk about that a little bit later. The exact opposite. It has been chaos in terms of Cinderellas out in Joplin, Missouri. One more here for freshman Eric Wood. Grew up in Mansfield, Texas, about 15 miles south of Arlington, where Arlington Baptist is located. He hits the second and will sit down. (78-65). Ohio Christian by 13 with 4:20 to play in this game. Mills to McCoy. Baker was open on that baseline. Looks like Arlington now in some sort of matchup zone where the guards are going to come out and really apply pressure and even some double teams, but 3 guys on the backside, and McCoy took it right at Jeremiah Ford. Didn't drop it in, but he drew another foul on Jeremiah Ford. It's his second, and Ernie McCoy with the courage to go right at 6'2 Jeremiah Ford. McCoy listed at 5'9". He has had quite a season in his one and only season at OCU. It'll be his final season as he's a senior. We told you earlier, his 4th team in 4 years. He's a cousin of Wesley Russell's. That was his connection here. Played last year, as we said, down in Kentucky. The University of the Cumberlands, an NAIA program. Second one is no good. Rebound Johnny Shrake, and then lost it. And guess who's got it? Ernie McCoy. But then McCoy had it taken away by Green, who fired it into Russell's hands. Mills on the baseline with under 4 minutes away. 4 minutes away from another Ohio Christian University national title. And away from the basketball, referee Clarence Pauly going to stop play in the middle of the backside of that 2-3 zone. Philip Wakama was in some obvious pain, took a shot to the mouth or the head, now rubbing the back of his head, and so he is grimacing in some obvious pain. And the OCU training staff going to take a look at him. Inbound to McCoy, and Josh Green went all the way back behind the timeline to try to steal it. Arlington 3 minutes and 39 seconds away from finishing their season, so they're going to pick up the intensity and try to do everything they can, but Nick Baker continues to hit big baskets, and at the other end, a block as Josh Green will shoot 2 with 3:27 to play. So Nick Baker, 3 big ones at one end, a blocking foul at the other. Second on Baker, 8th on the team. And a couple free throws coming up here for the junior from McKinney, Texas. 21 a game last year in the national tournament, although he was held scoreless in that national title game. He has 15 today. Had 33 points, including 21 in the second half in their 94-79 win over Hillsdale in the Southwest Regional Final. 16 for Josh Green, 82-67. Time a huge factor right now. Lead was 10 at halftime, at 15 here as Russell will bring it back out as Josh Green tries to force them to speed up a little bit, so they do, and they drop it off to Matthias for his second field goal. Green to Howard, just off that right block, now into the lane off a forward screen, threw it up at the rim, no good, rebound Nick Baker for OCU. McCoy double teamed, and he loses the basketball on the baseline. Underneath to Ford, who kind of spun it up. I don't know why he did that. Fortunately for Arlington, they grabbed the rebound, but they got to score fast. Ford just had it taken away by McCoy. Nobody's going to catch him. Ernie to the other end for 2 more. 18 for Ernie McCoy. 86-67. Shrake into the lane, threw it up at the rim, no good again. He missed everything. And a jump ball is going to be called between Evan Mills and Jeremiah Ford, and everything else going OCU's way. The possession arrow favors the Trailblazers as well. OCU is going to improve to 25-10. It'll be their 41st straight win against NCCAA Division II schools, and a foul committed by Josh Green as he and Wesley Russell were getting a little bit close after the foul, and James Foster got right in between them and made his foul call as our U1 while he stood right between them. Good move there by our U1 James Foster. All 3 of these guys in stripes. First time they have worked a game today for this tournament, and that was by design. Frank Vitt, the assigner and a referee in this championship, said, I want brand new officials so there's no issues. I remember back in the day at Mid-America, they would have the same officials all week. They would allow you in the national tournament, the national title game, to eliminate one official that you did not want to do your championship game. So you couldn't pick who was going to do it, but you could say, I don't want that guy right there to do it. Russell off an alley-oop from McCoy, put it in, and Tony Stockman immediately calls a timeout. Trailblazer Nation to their feet here in the Maxwell Leadership Center. They know it's just a matter of time right now. With 1 minute and 48 seconds left to play, Ohio Christian University will be your national champions here in 2014. They got a major scare on Thursday in this building when they beat Pensacola 69-63. Isn't it ironic that after that game it has been smooth sailing the rest of the way? They beat Grace Bible by 15 yesterday, 79-64. Ernie McCoy, Evan Bartlett, 11 apiece. Russell, 11 and 13 assists. OCU had 20 assists in that game, so they win by 15 in the semis. They lead right now by 23 against this depleted Arlington team, but it was that first game of the tournament that they built that big 16-point first half lead, but Pensacola got within 3 when Wesley Russell hit the biggest shot of this championship, a runner in the lane with 20.7 left that made it 67-62 and really ended up being the game winner. Russell 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists. I'm going to predict that he's the national tournament MVP for the second straight year. Right baseline, Brasino's 3. On the rim, Evan Mills, a rebound for OCU. Minute 33 to play. Joe Collier is checked in. They dump it off to Hoover, who was fouled as Tony Stockman puts in some of his reserves, including Joe Collier, the junior from Canal Winchester. Johnny Shrake fouled Gary Hoover. Foul on Shrake is his second, team 7th. And Gary Hoover, the freshman, also like J.J. Smith from Westland High School, like Chris Carius, gets an opportunity to score in a national championship game. Wesley Russell salutes this OCU crowd as he checks out for the final time in 2013-14, and the National Player of the Year and National Tournament MVP from a season ago. A huge one tonight. Did not score a whole bunch the first 2 games of this championship, as Woods' 3 is no good. Chris Little a rebound. OCU 80 seconds away from a national title. McCoy short-armed it. Mills caught it in midair, but Shrake, I thought had it, finally ends up in the hands of Brasino. Brasino to Brinkley. Back out to Jeremiah Ford. Here's Brinkley for 3. Grazed the side of the rim, no good. Rebound Ford. Ford back out to Brasino. Brasino tried to fire it off some penetration to Ford, and everybody running up the floor, but James Foster's saying, no, it's going to stay here. So, I'm not sure what that's all about, but with a 24-point lead, Tony Stockman isn't going to argue, and 56.1 seconds left. And Ernie McCoy, the bad news if you're an NCCAA Division II opposing coach, who you're looking at right now is the only senior on this Ohio Christian University team. And he has just checked out of this game to a big round of applause. The honorable mention All-American. Brasino and Shrake had it. Ball on the floor, and Shrake and Hoover are tied up, and the jump ball arrow faces Arlington. Arlington's going to finish their campaign 22-13. ACCA champs this year, and the national runners-up in Division II for the second consecutive season. They lose 2 seniors. Simeon Brinkley, one of them, first-year player. And I'm not sure who the other is. He's not listed on the active roster. Everybody else will be back as Johnny Shrake fouled Evan Bartlett near midcourt, and that's number 3 on Johnny Shrake. 8th on the team, and so Evan Bartlett, with exactly 38 seconds left, will go to the other end and shoot a 1-and-1. 11 Trailblazers have scored today. Arlington had 7 different players score today. Shrake will sit down as Josh Green is back in. Talking X's and O's, I just don't know why Arlington didn't start with more plays down to the post to Jeremiah Ford. That's the one thing I won't understand as you look back on this basketball game, as Wood spins one up and in. I'm not sure, as there's a steal by Brasino with under a half minute to play. He double pumped, and Little blocked it out of his shot. In the first 3 or 4 minutes of this game, you could tell Ford had a decisive advantage underneath. I mean, he just took it to Sunday Matthias on several possessions right in a row. And I don't know why you didn't feed the big fella 30 or 40 times. Let him have 30 touches underneath and run your offense off of how the defense reacts. But they didn't choose to do it, and OCU made them pay. 12 seconds away, the Leadership Center fans to their feet. Ohio Christian made history in 2013, and they enjoyed it so much they do it again here in 2014. Ohio Christian University, your 2014 NCCAA Division II Men's National Basketball Champions. Congratulations to Tony Stockman, Jamie Batten, Ty Manuel, President Mark Smith, Athletic Director Ben Bellarmine, DJ Malone, an assistant coach, and the entire Trailblazer squad. They are your NCCAA Division II national champions here in 2013-14. We've got a post-game show coming up, a look at some of the final statistics. We'll put a headset on Tony Stockman. We'll also talk to our Citizens Bank of Asheville player of the game. All that is coming up on the post-game show, and we'll tell you the all-tournament team while we do all of that as well. Ohio Christian, a winner, 91-69. We'll take a break right now. You watched the 2014 National Championship here on Turbo Sports Group.
We had an all-stars game between NCCAA Division II coaches, some former players, and they lost to the Special Olympic All-Stars. We raised $600 for the Special Olympics. Now, we want to make this grand for next year. I heard some things are already in the works. So get here early and be involved with that. But here to present $600 is Sean Conner, the national chair, presenting it to Chris Hiles of the Special Olympics.
Sean Condra, the men's national chair for Division II basketball, presenting a $600 check to Special Olympics. If you've been involved in this tournament to some capacity this week, you know that they were the CSP, the Christian Service Project. They had an all-star game on Wednesday night in this building between some of the NCCAA former players, coaches, athletic department staff. They played some of these young men that are all-stars in the Special Olympics, and it was a fundraiser and also just a great time of ministry for those guys and something they'll be talking about for years to come. And you know what? One of the things you learn about serving people is you end up being blessed more than the people that you serve. And so some of those NCCAA coaches, besides having physical memories, bruises and being winded and sleeping well the last couple of nights, will have fond memories of being a part of that event as well. 91-69. And they announced the all-tournament team here. C.J. Dunstan from Lancaster Bible, who is still here. Lancaster has not left. And Marshall Tegg, you better believe, still trying to build that program at Lancaster and wants his guys to see what this is all about. Playing for a national championship, Ernie McCoy, the lone senior on the OCU squad, also a member of the all-tournament team from OCU. West Coast still here as well. They flew in from California, so as Ernie McCoy does one of his Ozzie Smith-like flips to get to Sean Condra to receive that award. He did that during the Mideast Region Award ceremony as well at KCU. Josh Green, for the second consecutive year, makes the all-tournament team from Arlington Baptist. Jeremiah Ford makes the all-tournament team as well. Second consecutive year for him. Ford only a junior and the MVP for the second consecutive season. Boy, he is collecting a lot of hardware. Two-time Mideast Region Player of the Year, National Player of the Year this season, two-time National Tournament MVP, and he's done all of it in 3 seasons. This is your all-tournament team led by Wesley Russell, the junior from Columbus Centennial High School. Again, C.J. Dunstan from Lancaster, Ernie McCoy from Ohio Christian, Josh Green from Arlington, Jeremiah Ford from Arlington, and Wesley Russell, your MVP. So 3 of those guys repeats from a year ago. The 2 from Arlington, Green and Ford, Russell from OCU, and then 2 new ones. The sophomore All-American C.J. Dunstan, a second-team All-American, and Ernie McCoy, the honorable mention All-American from OCU. They present the runner-up basketball and plaque to Cliff McDaniel, who after we get done here is going to have to shift gears quickly as his Arlington women will take on the Maranatha women, who advanced to the national title game for the 5th consecutive year. Number 7 Maranatha, number 4 Arlington. That game is slated for an 8 p.m. start today. We'll take a look at final statistics quickly while we wait on our player of the game and our head coach. 27 for Wesley Russell tonight, 18 for Ernie McCoy, a dozen for Nick Baker. They're the 3 Trailblazers in double digits as you see the Trailblazers get presented with the national championship banner. 9 for Evan Mills. J.J. Smith added 7 off the bench, 6 for Danny Schrock on a 1-3 and a 3-point play as he was fouled on a jump shot as well. Evan Bartlett added 3 to apiece for Kenny Cooper and Chris Little. Christian Sunday Matthias added 4 on 2 field goals, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and Gary Hoover split a pair of free throws late to finish with 1. OCU was 8 of 12 from the charity stripe for 67%. For Arlington, Jeremiah Ford, the junior All-American, led the Patriots with 20. Josh Green popped in 16. Patrick Howard added 11. So 3 Patriots hit double figures. Johnny Shrake 9 in a fill-in role at the 2 for the injured Rafael Garcia. 6 tonight for Simeon Brinkley on 2 threes. Jamie Brasino hit a 3 off the bench as well. And that is it. So 7 different players scored. Eric Wood, by the way, the freshman from Mansfield, Texas, had 4 points as well. Arlington was 17 of 21 from the charity stripe for 81%. They're going to get ready. Oh, some other numbers quickly. Final statistics in this game. Shooting percentages, OCU 57% from the field, including 63% in the second half. They hold Arlington to only 38% shooting, 33% in the second half. Battle the backboards, OCU plus 12, 37 to 25. The leading rebounder for OCU with 9 was Wesley Russell.